Morning guys, someone was asking what we have growing here, so I thought I'd show you real quick. So these are some just uprights. We've got cucumbers, the very first thing. The next thing we have is a squash. The next thing we have is a heat tolerant tomato. And then we just keep changing out what's sitting next to it. The reason we do that is so that if we get a bug on one plant, it's not just going to run and jump from one plant to the next, to the next, to the next. Kind of companion gardening on that side too. Then for the hoop here, back up a little so you can see the actual hoop. So for the hoop here, we have planted a vine runner. This is the one that got out of the front yard. It was getting eaten by something, so we decided to move back here. We sprayed it with some neem oil to get rid of it. And then we've got different types of berries planted. And again, every single one of them is something different next to it. It's not the same thing in a row. And then we end up with a whole bunch of different berries going from one end all the way down to the other. And then over here on the same, it's the same thing running all the way up, going to there. How did we plant them? We ended up planting them based on the holes in the hose. So as you can see right here, I got a hole there. Then if I go all the way down to here, I have another hole. That's about a foot, maybe a foot and a half between them. So that's the spacing that we put on those as we went from one end to the other. Then back here on this side, again, the same thing. Everything has something different connected to it. And as you can see, things are just starting to come along nicely for this garden. The spacing on this whole thing was so that we could walk in between. We'll cover this stuff up here. I just had to replant some stuff, so we haven't put it in here yet. But we put this in here so that we could walk in the middle of it and garden. We free range our chickens, so we wanted to make sure that the chickens, when they walk up to it from the outside here, the chickens couldn't get in and just peck away. Even though they could walk around it, they'll stay on the outside for the most part. They don't like to be in the enclosed areas because I chase them when they get in there, and they're learning not to do it. And then at the very front of it, all of this we hooked to a real simple little timer. So let me show that to you. For those of you that just want to get something in the ground right this minute, throw some posts up, get some 16-foot panels, or get some 8-foot panels. If you see this hoop is actually two 8-foot panels because they'd run out of 16-footers, and I couldn't get any 16-footers in. And so I just decided, you know what? I don't need a 16-footer. I can do it with an 8-footer. So as you can see, as I come back up to the front here, you can see I used some staples to hold those two together, and it did a great job. These things will last a long time if they're like that. So if you don't have the bigger ones, the 16-footers, grab some 8-footers and make it work. I also have a front area up here. I've got a bunch of, this is my garlic coming in, this is some onion coming in, got some pollinating flowers coming in all over the place here, a bunch more onions coming in, got some gladiolas on the back side of it. But let me show you what I did for the water real quick, because a lot of people are like, well, you know, there's no water there, I don't want to hand water this stuff. I never hand water. I always put water where I can. So this is a real simple system right off of my hose. Didn't want to have to fight with it too much this year, first year for this garden location. I just used one of these self-timers. It's a Dig. Hooked it in with a backflow on there so that I end up not having a bunch of problems with my line and things getting stuck in my line. You just go in, you program it, but then if you just want to push it, you just hit one button. Next thing you know, the thing's going off for however long you'd set the thing to go off for. So again, don't need to make it hard, just need to make it. So if you guys get a chance, get something in the ground. This is just the design we used for this little garden right here. Got other gardens all over the property, but for this one, we decided we wanted to be able to grow some stuff and have it right here on the back side. So that's our little garden.